This is the internet where everybody can connect, and after connecting, they can access everything, okay? So this is in Dubai. You are in a country called Dubai here. In this country, Dubai, this is the whole of Dubai. Let's say this country is Dubai. In Dubai, normally WhatsApp doesn't work there. So how does it work? What they do, before the internet gets to Dubai, there's cables that goes under the line, under the water, all the way to Dubai. The same way they go all under the water, all the way to USA. And once they go to USA, they go to the ISP. Remember the ISP? We covered this in the classes. This is Internet Service Provider. These are companies like Rogers in Canada. These are MTN in Rwanda. This is the Zinc in Uganda. There's a lot of internet providers. Before these internet providers get to give the internet into their country or into their house, there's cables that goes under the water, under the ocean, all the way to the internet provider. We'll talk about this in the future, but you don't need this. So these cables, there's another option. If these cables don't have to go there, there's another option which we call the satellite dish. You've seen the satellite dish. They are like Starlink. Starlink is for Starlink is for Elon Musk. Have you guys heard about Starlink? Starlink is the internet connection of Elon Musk that you don't need the cables. It comes through the satellite. And when it comes through the satellite, in this case, it may go through the internet service provider, but it doesn't necessarily need to go through the service provider. You can have them direct according to the partnership you have. Are you understanding this part so far? So this Starlink also, this Starlink connects to the internet and takes the internet to you. When it brings the internet to you, you have another dish on your house, and that link, it comes in and you have a modem, and from the modem, you have the laptop. Do you remember this part, guys?
Yes, yes.
Tina, do you remember? You asked me the question. I'm trying to tell you because you asked the question.
I remember.
If you understand it, good. So the same thing, if you're using ISP, the same thing, the ISP will bring the cable all the way to your building, and after getting into their house, they'll give you a router. And inside this router, we talked about a couple of things. Can somebody tell me what's inside this router? There's DHCP, there's DNS. What else is inside there? There's a gateway, which helps you to find a way to the internet. And there is also AP. This is access point. What's access point? The access point is the reason why you get the internet on your phone, because there's no cable coming to you. It's Wi-Fi. People call it Wi-Fi, but it's not Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is a connection between the router, but inside the router, there's what we call access point, the AP, which is access point. So what does it do? It brings you the internet in the form of waves. You don't need to put in the cable. But what if you have a big computer? Let's say you have a computer in your house. In USA, you have a big computer with a monitor, with a big CPU, with a keyboard and a mouse. What would you do in this case? You're going to have to plug in the cable here. You're going to have to bring the cable from the router to your computer, to your desktop. Do you get it?
Yes.
Good. So on this router here, there's 2 points. There's a point which is called, there's a point when this cable comes from the ISP here and comes all the way to your house. Before it gets into your house, it gets what we call a public IP address. Could be a public IP address. Then inside your house, it's a private IP address. Once you get into the house, you have private IP address. Do you get it? So you have an IP address. The ISP will give you the public IP address. I can ask you. I can show me. So you see, the example of a public IP address would look like this. The example of a private IP address would look like this. The reason why, the internet service provider gives you only one IP address, and that's why you pay every month. They charge you for this IP address, which comes to your house. But once it comes into your house, this IP address can create more than 256 IP addresses in your house, which means in your house you can connect monitors, laptops, phones, and everything all the way to 254. So, which means here, once you get from here, the ISP is here. The ISP is gonna give Tina in USA one public IP address to the router. Then if inside the house, because they don't wanna give everybody inside the house a public IP address because it's expensive, and that way they take this public IP address, then they convert it into private IP address. And once you have private IP address, you can have more, at least 254 devices, like computers, like phones and everything. Each house can have this number of computers. You can't go above this one. If you need to go above, let's say Tina or your friends from Rwanda and USA, they come in your house and they all want to access the internet. They can all have the internet, but they can't go above 254. Why? Because I don't want to confuse it too much. We can break it down. We call it subnetting. The reason why now each house. Go ahead.
So I understand that now, if I want the internet, that's why they give us that DCP at home, so that we can have the Wi-Fi.
So this DHCP can give 254. 254. Normally it's 255, but 555 is a broadcast. It's like you don't use it. So this DHCP is capable of giving you 254 IP addresses in your house.
Okay,
and all these 254 IP addresses, they only connect to one IP address that you get from your the internet provider. Is that this part clear?
Yes, I understand now.
Good.
From the company.
So now, go ahead.
Yeah, those public IP address is from the company. We bought it from the company.
Outside. They are the people going on the outside, people on the internet, everybody who connects to the internet, people working on the internet, they use the public IP addresses. Everybody in the internet, they have public IP addresses. Everybody inside their house, to create security, they have private IP addresses. So the private IP addresses can't work in the internet because the internet doesn't know them. They only know the public IP addresses. Is that part clear?
Yes.
Ask me questions, because after you understand this one, I'm going to answer your question. And so now let's assume they told us, let's assume this is a public IP address. For instance, let's say this public IP address is the address that connects to Tina to the public, to the internet. This is the IP address that you pay every month. That's how they charge you. So before we go further, in Dubai, every country, sometimes they can either assign the IP addresses on a country level, which will be a public IP address on a country level. Do you understand? So in this case, maybe we could have a public IP address of Dubai as an example, which will be maybe, let's say 154 point under this point, like 88.0. Let's say like this one. And this IP address is the one the internet comes here all the way, and once it gets to Dubai, the Dubai maybe Service of Telecommunication, which is a government operations, this is responsible for the government. They have the IP address, and this IP address, the Dubai is going to give it to their ISPs. So there's so many ISPs in Dubai, so which means every ISP, before they get before they can give the internet to the people, they get the IP address from this government of Dubai. So you have like so many ISPs, which is Canal Plus, MTN, Airtel, all those are ISPs. But all those, they can be disconnected if the government says, oh, and all this one, they have the public IP address, the ISPs. Then inside the ISPs, now they go to the people's house, and once they get to the people's house, now they provide private IP address. So which means if the Dubai country says we can restrict anything from the internet, we can say, okay, we don't want our people to watch porns. We don't want our people to go to Google. What do? How do they go? They just come here. Let me go here. Let's say Google IP address. So you see Google IP address. This is a V6. This is a regular one. So they go to, let's say they take this IP address. If they take that IP address and they come here, and the government, either the ISP can block it or the government can block it. So in this one, they have what we call a firewall. A firewall, who knows what's a firewall?
A firewall
is
security protection.
Yeah, it's a security protection. It's a gatekeeper. It's a security guy at the gate. He's responsible to see who is coming in and who is leaving the house. And if you want, you can say, don't leave the house and don't come in the gate. Don't come in the house. The security is like the door, like umuzamu, that security guy who works at the gate. He can say, give me your ID. Let me check. When they check, they can check and say, oh, your ID are not allowed to come here because we blocked you, because maybe the government issues or something. So this firewall is responsible for the traffic coming in and going out. Do you get it?
Yes.
So in this firewall, we can add, if we add this IP address of Google and we blacklist it, we call it blacklisted, blacklist this IP address. Anybody inside here, he won't get the Google. That's how China does it. So if you block this IP address of Google on the firewall from the entry level, which will be the government communication services, before the internet goes to MTN, to Rogers, to Canal Plus, the government can block it from there. But also this guy, if it's not blocked from here, the ISP also can block it. Can say, through our network, if you have the router from MTN does not allow Google, which means anybody who connects to MTN does not have the access to Google. To get the Google, you have to go back either on a firewall here or on a firewall here, depends where it's connected, and you have to do what we call whitelisted. When you whitelist it, then the Google will go slow. So as you can see, now it becomes a challenge, because now anybody who gets the internet, who gets Google here, he can't get the Google. So what does the VIP do? Do you get it?
I have a question there. What is the difference between whitelist and blacklist? I'm not getting very well.
Blacklist is like you are blacklisted. We don't want you in. Don't go slow. Whitelist is like you are okay. You can come in.
Okay.
Is that clear? So if you are at the gate, yes, and you are, say, if the car with the number plate like RBACC comes, blacklisted, it's not allowed to come into the gate. But RCA445 is whitelisted, it can come in the gate. Sometimes you don't have to specify the what. You can say leave everything to come in, but just block this one. So you don't have to specify the whitelist. You can say you can specify what you want to come in and what you want to get out, or you can just say let everybody come in, but when Tina comes in, don't allow her in. So you are blacklisting Tina. Is that clear?
Yes.
So now I'm in Dubai, I need to use WhatsApp. Every time I'm in Dubai, they have blocked my WhatsApp and it becomes a challenge. So what do? What I'm gonna do in Dubai, I'm gonna download an application, and this application is gonna be a VPN. This application, a VPN. And I'm trying to explain it in the easiest way possible. It can get more detailed But this is the, so when I download this application on my laptop, and this is the one, you see, this is the one. It's saying it's connected. And it's saying my current location, I'm in Canada. But right now I'm not in Canada. But it's saying I'm in Canada. If you go, if I say, I go on here, and I come here and say, tell me where I am. Or I can even say, I can say, if let's say I'm trying to use anything, it can tell me, it's going to search and it's going to say, oh, you are in Canada. But am I in Canada? No, I'm not in Canada. It's because I'm using the VPN. So what does it do? In this case, when you get VPN, this VPN will sell you a public IP address. So it's going to charge me money. Some are free, public IP address. And then this IP address, once I get the public IP address, which I've paid from online, it's gonna come here and go through the same network and come to the internet. Remember this IP address, this guy doesn't know it. These guys don't know it. So that gives me the internet. I can still go to the internet without going through these guys. So these guys, the whole idea is taking place here. They are saying, Tina, if Tina comes in with a car number plate 2525, don't allow in. But now Tina is coming in with 4444. So this is it's Tina, but now Tina is coming with a different car. So the security at the gate, he's checking, is like, oh, is this Tina? Or what's the number plate? He checked the number plate, and the number plate is not the number plate that is blacklisted, which means now they can go in and do whatever they want. So now it creates a tunnel. We call it a tunnel, like a tube. I don't know how I can explain it. And this tube takes you to the internet, which means only you here will go through this tube all the way through there, because there's no way you're going to go the internet without going through these guys here, or because it's output and they connect you out here all the way here. And sometimes this VPN will have its connectors around so that they skip this guy here. They skip the government control, the ISP control will be skipped, because the blockage is happening on an IP address based. But in this case, you are having a different IP address, and that's why you are able to go through. Does it make sense?
Yes, very well.
So if let's say you're in Dubai, and in Dubai you are in China they don't use the Google, and you want to help them and change you want to help Chinese people get to the Google. There's two ways you can do it. Which ways can you do it?
VPN?
Yeah, the first option is the VPN. What's the second option? The first option is VPN. What's another option?
I think private IP address.
Yeah, you're right. Say it better. You are right, but say it better. Or you can talk to the ISP if the Google is blocked on ISP level to whitelist the Google IP address, or the government can do it. So the government can do it here, and if they do it here, everybody inside the country will get the Google. If the government doesn't do it, that's when you use the VPN. Even if the internet service provider enables the Google, still the internet service provider will go through the government channel. They're still going to be blocked here. So it doesn't matter. But when you use the VPN, you've created a channel through the internet without having to go through the settings. So what's the difference between whitelist and a blacklist?
Whitelist, it's like to allow you to use
to enter. Say whitelist is to allow you to enter, blacklist is to refuse you to enter.
Yeah, to refuse you to enter. Yeah.
So in Rwanda, if we have a given in Rwanda, in Rwanda, there's also situations like this. I'll tell you. Let's say we have Rwanda here. In Rwanda, there is no Uber. Did you know in Rwanda there's no Uber?
Yes, there is no Uber.
Yeah. So Uber works everywhere, but in Rwanda doesn't work. Why? You can download the app of Uber, but you won't see the cars. Why? Because it's locked here on a government level. So even the ISPs, they can't get the Uber. They can't, even if they enable the ISPs, will never do it because the government, that's why the government says, if you make this money on Uber, we need to take this. If you don't want to give us this money, we're not going to block you. That's how they do it. They do it on the same way they would do it here. So they go in their firewall and they say Uber application. If you say, for in this case, if you say, what is Uber IP address? So they go inside and they blacklist the IP address of Uber. And this IP address will be this one. These are the IP addresses of the Uber. So all they have to do, they say, block all these IP addresses because we don't want, you say, blacklist all these IP addresses because we don't want them in Rwanda. And then Uber will be forced to talk with Rwanda and say, what can we do? Then Rwanda will be like, if you make $100, we need $20 because we are using our loads, we are using everything. And if you don't want, you are blacklisted. If you want to be whitelisted, that's what you have to do. That's why you have no Uber here. Is that very clear?
Yes, it's clear. And also, I have another question according to that. Um, so now, so now there is like, for example, a YouTube and
Mm,
YouTube. So there are some application that
mm.
it's not allowed. Like now I understand why YouTube has blocked like porn 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 things.
Yeah.
It's not allowed there. So and also and now for kids here uh on their laptops or
Yeah.
their
So
their
if you
stuff
say here, you can
also
say, tell
it's
me.
blocked.
Now you can see because the government doesn't want some people to watch some stuff and they will just do the blacklist. But people would still have to find a way. If you see all these services, you see Uber for business, Uber this, riding here, there's some other services that are blocked. And the same thing when you see when you come here when you are in US and the Netflix in China is different. The same way they say for the people in the USA use this IP address for the Netflix, which means only these people can access. That's why the Netflix in USA will be different from Africa and will be different from Canada. If you go Netflix in Canada, Netflix will be different. Why? They segregate them, they separate them from the IP perspective. That's why IP is so important. And that's a public IP address. Any questions about that topic? It's a small topic, but it's very important, and so many people don't understand how those things work. But once you get to explain them, they are so easy and they're straightforward. And now that's why you can see I use VPN because I wanna. The reason why I use the VPN, there's so many different reasons behind it. Maybe the company I'm working for, they want you to work only in Canada, maybe in USA. Any more questions?
Okay, so I would like to know how maybe like for you, you are supposed to be in Canada, working in Canada, and you're using a VPN. But when I have the other one pegged, how do I configure it with my router?
Yeah, you are in a call center. In that call center, sometimes you're gonna hear telling you, Angel is gonna be like, oh, I think you've had this before. When the VPN expires, we pay every couple months. If you don't pay, then all those people working in the call center automatically will show they are working from Africa.
So like when I have to buy, like using another one, how do I connect them together? Like I wanted to know how to configure those. Like I want to connect it to another internet, another source of internet, which is a router from another company.
So you want to put the VPN on another company.
And another router, like for now, let me use an example. I'm using MTN. So next time I want to buy another router, like for Airtel, then I connect them both on one VPN, like the one we are using, a call center, as you said here.
So what's the question? What do you want to know?
Know how I connect that VPN to those two routers at once.
So you want me to show you the configuration step by step? Now you know the idea.
If
you know the
if
idea,
you see
just
it is possible, we can do that. Because
no. Why would I do that?
confused on that.
Now you have the idea. I give you the basics. So use the basics to. I don't want to go. So you want me to go on a router and start the configuration, the VPN, so you can see? No. The point is you have the idea. Use the idea to maximize this for your benefit. Nobody's going to show you everything.